The Tawny, Scrawny Lion. Written by Kathryn Jackson. Once there was a tawny, scrawny, hungry lion who never could get enough to eat. He chased monkeys on Monday, kangaroos on Tuesday, and zebras on Wednesday, bears on Thursday, camels on Friday, and on Saturday, elephants. And since he caught everything he ran after, that lion should have been as fat as butter. But he wasn't at all. The more he ate, the scrawnier and hungrier he grew. And the other animals didn't feel one bit safe. They stood at a distance and tried to talk things over with the tawny, scrawny lion. "It's all your fault for running away," he grumbled. "If I didn't have to run for every single bite I get, I'd be fat as butter and sleek as satin. Then I wouldn't have to eat so much and you'd last longer." Just then a fat little rabbit came hopping through the forest picking berries. All the big animals looked to him and grinned shyly. "Rabbit," they said, "oh, you lucky rabbit, we appoint you to talk things over with the lion." Oh, how exciting. This made the little rabbit feel proud. "I shall talk, what shall I talk about?" he asked eagerly. "Oh, any old thing," said the big animals. "The important thing is to go right up close." So the fat little rabbit hopped right up to the big hungry lion and counted his ribs. "Oh, you look much too scrawny to talk things over," he said. "How about supper at my house first?" "What's for supper?" asked the lion. And the little rabbit said, "Carrot stew." That sounded awful to the lion, but the little rabbit said, "Yes, sir, my 5 fat sisters and my 4 fat brothers, they're making a big, delicious carrot stew right now." "What are we waiting for?" cried the lion, and he went hopping away with the little rabbit, thinking of the 10 fat rabbits and looking just as jolly and pleased. "Well," grinned the big animals, "that should take care of the tawny, scrawny for today." But before long, the lion began to wonder if they'd ever get to the rabbit's house. First, the fat little rabbit kept stopping to pick berries and mushrooms and all sorts of good-smelling herbs. And then when his basket was full, what did he do but flop down on the riverbank? "Wait a bit," he said. "I want to catch a few fish for the stew." That sounded almost too much for the hungry lion. For a moment, he thought he would just have to eat the one little rabbit then and there. But he kept saying 5 fat sisters and 4 fat brothers over and over to himself. And at last, the 2 were on their way again. "Here we are," said the rabbit, hopping around. They turned with the lion close behind. Sure enough, there was the rabbit's house with a big pot of carrot stew bubbling over an open fire. And sure enough, there were 9 more fat, merry little rabbits hopping around it. And they saw the fish and they plopped them into the stew along with the mushrooms and herbs. And the stew began to smell good indeed. Yummy, yummy stew. And then they saw the tawny, scrawny lion, and they gave him a big bowl of hot stew. And then they hopped around so busily that really it would have been quite a job for that tired, hungry lion to catch even one of them. So he gobbled up his stew, but the rabbits filled his bowl again, and when he had eaten all he could hold, they heaped another bowl of strawberries in his bowl. And then the berries were gone, and the tawny, scrawny lion wasn't scrawny anymore. He felt so good and fat and comfortable that he couldn't even move. Oh. "Here's a fine thing," he said to himself, "all these fat little rabbits, and I haven't any room inside for even one." He looked at all the fine, fat little rabbits, and he wished that he'd get hungry again. "Mind if I stay a while?" he asked. We wouldn't hear of your going, said the rabbits, and they plopped themselves down in the lion's lap and they began to sing songs. La 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 la. And somehow, even when it was time to say goodnight, the lion wasn't one bit hungry. Home he went through the soft moonlight, singing softly to himself. And then he curled up in his bed, patted his sleek, fat tummy, and smiled. When he woke up in the morning, it was Monday. Time to chase monkeys, said the lion. But he wasn't one bit hungry for monkeys. What he wanted was some more of that tasty stew. So off he went to visit the rabbits. On Tuesday, he did not want kangaroos, and on Wednesday, he didn't want zebras. He wasn't hungry for bears on Thursdays or camels on Fridays or elephants on Saturdays. And all the big animals were so happy and surprised. They dressed in their best and they went to see the fat little rabbit. Rabbit, they said. Oh, what a wonderful, wonderful rabbit. What in the world did you talk to the tawny, scrawny, hungry, terrible lion about? The fat little lion jumped up in the air and said, oh my goodness, we had such a good time with that nice jolly lion that I guess we forgot to talk about anything. And before the big animals could get in one word, the tawny, scrawny lion came skipping up the path, and he had a basket of berries for his 5 fat sisters, and a string of fish for his 5 fat brothers, and a bunch of daisies for the fat rabbit himself. I came for supper, he said, shaking his paws all around. And then he sat down in the soft grass, looking as fat as butter, sleek as satin, and jolly as all get out. All ready for another good big supper of carrot stew. The end.